You're now listening to No Gimmicks.
No Gimmicks podcast, and we bring it to you every time we turn live, and you know it's the truth. Every after show, moving down, this the time we move around. No Gimmicks podcast is going down. Every night, every time in the ring, this is the time for No Gimmicks. No, we doing our thing. What's your state of mind? State of mind. Moving down a statement when we take the line. This is exactly wrestling the state design. When you see Stone Cold like me, with the stunner in the world, exactly, man, what we bring. Every night we move like Brock Lesnar, the F5, No Gimmicks. We take you to your limit, what's the feeling? When we live in the air, you know we on, it's the time. Guarantee we move, you know how we respond. The state design when we feel it. Moving down, what's the healing? No Gimmicks is the feeling.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks podcast here on the DFPN final show of 2025. No other way that I want to end it with my partner in crime, my tag team partner who put us on the map, the one and only Dee Vader. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back to the show. I know No Gimmicks as a show has been busy, but it's been a while since you and I have chopped it up, done an episode. And I got to tell you, man, it's good to be back in the saddle as a tag team.
Well, I appreciate that, man. But you've been doing your thing solo for a little while now with MPX. I mean, putting out fire content. Showing much love and respect to the Texas independent wrestling organizations out there, and more to come in 2026.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the thing. Yeah, but we've been basically just hitting the saddle, bro. It's just been one thing.
Uh-oh. Is that me? I hope it's not me. I hope it's not me, because that would be par for the course. That's crazy. But till my guy comes back.
So I don't know what the hell happened there. We just barely start the damn show, and all of a sudden now, fucking AT&T wants to fuck around, bro. So as I was saying, we've been doing this thing back and forth. You got your stuff going on, I got my stuff going on. So it's good to finally come. I mean, we've had so many things happen in the past few weeks, man. We've had John Cena's final match.
Yep.
We found out that we got multi-millionaire Somalians in the United States. It's like it's fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
man.
And everybody's so mad about that. Hold up a second. Everybody's so mad about the Somalians being multi-millionaires. Let me tell you something. While the rest of us up here all divided on bullshit, they got their bag. So it is what it is. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel.
Absolutely. You can take a lesson. United, they get the bag, bro.
They get the bag, bro. That's what it is.
They united, they get the bag. That's the biggest lesson.
It is what it is.
Yep. But yeah, man, a lot has happened. Which I wanted to start off. I wanted to start off here. And let's talk WWE and exactly what you brought up. Let's talk WWE starting out. John Cena's last match. It came and went. A lot of people were not happy about the finish of that match in particular. And we haven't talked about it, but I did want to pick your brain, but I want to give my thoughts on it real quick. I loved John Cena's last match. I love the way he went out. It's old school, it's tradition. He passed the torch. He put a guy over that needed to be put over. We talked about him on this podcast. There was that whole night. It was a spotlight shine on younger talent. And you starting to see some of these younger talent be positioned in places now. I was not mad at that at all. What I was mad at was the build to John Cena's last match. I thought we could have got to that night. That night would have been way more impactful had his last run been presented in a better light. And there's interviews that corroborate that. He wanted more dates. They only gave him a certain amount of dates. He did the best with what he got. That coupled with the last match, I'm not too mad at John Cena's retirement tour. Not at all. Because that last match was what it was supposed to be. And he goes out doing the one thing that he built his career on, and that's not giving up. He tapped out. I thought it was poetic. I thought it was good. But I want to hear your thoughts on this last match. What did you think about it? And your reaction to it?
So, I mean, my thought is simply this, man. I mean, what a hell of a run for John Cena.
Yep.
I mean, whether you like the guy or you don't, it's a hell of a run. I remember back in the day when Cena showed up on WWE television with Kurt Angle, but you had heard about the prototype before he got there. He had been the prototype down in Rick Bassman's UPW, because we're from Cali. So we know all about the prototype. He made his debut, and it was rocky in the beginning. That whole white meat baby face they were trying to push with ruthless aggression, that wasn't working. So it's when I'm understanding Stephanie McMahon heard the freestyling and decide okay, this is what we need to do with John Cena, and he went on from there. Now some people say that Cena's culture vulture. He stole from he basically took a black man's gimmick and ran with it. I kind of don't see it that way myself. I kind of see it as, because we've had plenty of white boy rappers, Vanilla Ice, Beastie Boys, Eminem, Uncle Cracker. We've seen it before. It's not anything new.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it like that. I don't see it that as far as at all. I see where he went with the he came in at a time when hip hop was a certain way, and he fed off of that. He slowly morphed from the hip hop gimmick into what we see now in the presentation. That's what he did.
Right.
And that's how I look at that. So I don't really say it's culture. I mean, we're all culture vultures. You feel me? That's how it is. There's some guys that think they're white and they're black. So that's culture vulture. It is what it is. But as far as it goes, man, I thought that look how long it took us to get to this part though, to have the retirement match. Look at all the BS that he did throughout the first part of the year with the heel turn that went nowhere. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. That heel turn was a bad idea. That's one of those ones where I wish they would have called an audible. It's very reminiscent of Stone Cold Steve Austin's heel turn in 2001, except Austin made it work a little while with the comedy. You saw Stone Cold Steve Austin open himself up with the comedy, and he started doing stuff that was out of his element. You didn't really see anything with John Cena that was out of the element. It was just John Cena was cutting, more harsher promos, but it was the same presentation. There was nothing different out there. Stone Cold Steve Austin changed his music. He started wearing different color knee braces. It was a more of a comedic, timing thing with Kurt Angle and Mr. McMahon. You saw different things there. You didn't see that with John Cena. It was the same presentation. So I'm kind of like, if you take away that heel run, and you just would have had him on this Never Give Up tour, the finale, I think it would have been way better. But people saying that, Cena should have won his last match. No, he shouldn't have.
Yeah, I agree.
John Cena was there to do the time-honored tradition, which is you put somebody over on your way out, you look at the lights.
Yep.
Now, people say, it was a bad idea from the tap. Hey, listen. If you're going to go down, you go down. You feel me? You go down doing the one thing that nobody ever thought you would do, which is tap out.
Yep.
I mean, how many times How many times did we ever see Hollywood Hulk Hogan tap out? You saw it a lot because he had to open himself up to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Here, I think that it's just people like, damn, wasted time, man. Just all that wasted time and all these feuds that we could have got, but we didn't get them. And I think a lot of it too is a lot of people were kind of mad that it was Gunther that was the one that was chosen to be in the final match. I think that's a lot of the backlash. Just the people just don't think Gunther is on that level. And me personally, I don't think beating John Cena does a damn thing for Gunther. I don't see what's it going to do for him. I don't see any kind of change here, other than him being a quote unquote career killer because he's already killed Goldberg, and now he's done Cena. I mean, we're assuming it's going to be AJ Styles next. So I don't know.
Right. I agree with that, and he takes on the career killer gimmick. I think he has something with that, but I was one of the people also too. Like, I'm not sure it should be Gunther at the end of this train, and I still thought that even watching the last match. Was I mad at the match? No, but did I think Gunther should have been the man? I wasn't sold on it until that Raw afterwards. The Raw afterwards kind of sold me on the fact that, all right, this might have been the guy to do it, because I don't see anybody coming out of that with what Gunther had, and that is people absolutely hating his guts and he absolutely throwing it back in their face.
Well, so about that, let me stop you.
Go ahead.
So somebody was in the building and they showed video of Gunther in the building. The reaction wasn't as loud as you think it was. That was WWE piping in some shit. They were using the Thunderdome for that. Now, if I would have picked someone to be John Cena's final opponent and who would have got the win and that would have actually helped him, I would have picked Dominic Mysterio.
I would have done that too. And that's why that was one of my problems with the run towards the end is Dominic Mysterio. And I understand, like, they booked San Diego, and for the people who don't know, like, John Cena's history, San Diego is an important part of his history. It really is. And I thought that should have been his last match. If you were going to do it anywhere, it should have been his last match with Dominic Mysterio. And I thought that's where they were going until we got the Survivor Series. And I'm like, yeah, that's a mistake to me.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I just thought about it right now. You actually could have put John Cena against Rey Mysterio
in San Diego.
Yeah, in San Diego. Yep. Then you could have had Dominic come and say, "I'm going to do something that you couldn't do.
I'm going to be John
Cena
in his last match. Yep, I'm going to end his career."
That
would have been to me that would have been the perfect ending, because and that's why I'm like, you want to be a Grand Slam champion on your way out, cool. And he beats Dom Mysterio, but I wasn't a fan of that booking. I was like, y'all should have saved Dom for last. And even if he wasn't gonna be the last man to beat him, like, maybe I wouldn't have had a problem if Cena won his last match if it was against Dom Mysterio, because he goes out as a Grand Slam champion. No real knock, but if you had that feud leading up to the last match, it should have been Dom Mysterio. That whole tournament idea, wasn't necessarily a fan of it, especially when Gunther came back and he had his original music. I was like, yeah, that's gonna be the guy. It's gonna be the guy.
And I am. Is it just me, or am I not? I'm just not digging the music.
I like it, but also it goes back to WWE's on this kick of, we need to erase the Vince fingerprints from things. It's evident, because that was Walter's music in NXT, and I'm just waiting on they go back to Walter. You know what I mean? I'm waiting on that. I don't think they will, but I'm like, that's Walter's music. So they're going back to that, and it's just like, I like it. I like that music, but also it they're trying to undo some things, and which I'm really not mad at that either.
Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of it. I think the Gunther music, actually, the one he was coming out to, I thought it was pretty dope. It was a fire track, one of the few that Def Rebel actually have done.
Yeah,
that actually was cool. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that. But another change that WWE is making, speaking on that, on changes, is we've been on No Gimmicks very critical of the lack of black champions on WWE.
Yeah.
And how we've noticed this pattern. And we're not the only ones that noticed this pattern. It became an increasingly loud situation that a bunch of people have been chiming in on. Yep. And lo and behold, last night on SmackDown, Carmelo Hayes beat Ilya Dragunov for the United States Championship. A lot of people knew this in advance and were talking about it's about time. Finally, he's been one of the guys. And there was a lot of people that went back and watched that episode because he was winning that championship and they wanted to see it. It was very reminiscent of Mick Foley. Like when people found out he won the championship, people tuned into the show. But that leads to the question, is WWE trying to change that narrative that so many people chimed in on? Are they trying to change the presentation of black single stars?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. We're in December, so January is coming up, and then February is going to be Black History Month.
Touche.
Well, you know, listen. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm not convinced. Just because you put a mid-card championship on somebody, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. And it's just, and the reason I'm not convinced is because of this. You know, you got this guy come out and say, "Well, we don't listen to the internet. We don't listen to what they talk about. We don't care." Obviously, you fucking do, because we're the ones talking about this, and it's just not us. It's a lot of people. There's a lot of different podcasters that have been very vocal about the fact that you don't see any black champions. You don't see any black superstars. You barely have any representation. That's one thing I will say about John Cena's final match, is that there was a lot of black representation on that show. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give him where credit is due, but you got a lot more to make up. You know what I mean? You need to do something with the profits. You let the New Day go to shit and just basically squander them. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know, and I saw that they have listed Trick Williams and on the SmackDown internal roster. So that's a good move. Obviously, because you know he's engaged to Lash Legend and she's on the SmackDown brand, so you know you bring them up together. That's that's cool. You do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced. Just because I don't know. Listen, Bill Watts bucked a lot of black guys too.
Fact.
Okay.
Fact.
So I'm not just. Yeah, it don't change my opinion or nothing, because I see what it is. And I've always seen what it was. You know what I mean? So people can disagree or they can agree. I don't give a shit. I'm talking about, for me, what I see. And for me, I don't see no change. I see the same shit. You just go, okay, now we're going to put a championship on. We're going to put them on him. We're going to put the belt on him just to shut him up. That's the way I look at that. We're going to bring Obafemi out here to wrestle Cody Rhodes just to shut them up. It's no different than when WCW had a racial discrimination lawsuit against them, and one way to shut them up is to put the championship on Booker T. And I don't give a damn. I don't care what anyone says. They put that championship on at a very interesting time. Okay, now did Booker T deserve to be world champion? Absolutely, he did. But the dark cloud over that is always going to be they put the belt on him during that time of that racial discrimination lawsuit, and then they made Stevie Ray a ring announcer at around the same time. Coincidence? Nope. I don't know. But it's kind of funny just because, you know, back in the day before that, the NAACP, they contacted Turner about the fact that there were no black champions. And what happened? They put the championships on Doom. So I don't know.
Yep.
Is this all a coincidence right now? Or is it we really strongly believe in this booking? We'll see. We'll see in a few months. If we really believe in his booking, or is Carmelo Hayes transitional?
Good
I
point.
hope he's not. I hope he's not, because the guy's got talent. So I hope he's not transitional. But they got to change my mind on this, and my mind's not changed yet. I'm not convinced yet of nothing.
Good point. Very good point. And in my head, I'm kind of there too. Like, I'll give them some grace because I do see them. John Cena's last match is a perfect example. Obafemi, Javon Evans. A lot of people don't know Sol Ruka's part black, but there was a lot of black representation on that show. I'm gonna give them a little bit of grace, but I'm like you. I'm still kind of skeptical, especially since you have guys out there like Montez Ford who should be getting opportunities, and we don't see anything from him. And you have guys in the fold, the New Day that can represent the tag titles, right? You have guys in the fold that you could push and make relevant right now, and just because, but I do like that they put the strap on Carmelo Hayes. I do like that. He is very, very earned that title.
Absolutely.
I think you can build around him in that mid card because I think he does have enough talent to carry the mid card and work his way up and eventually go for that top spot. And then you have Trick Williams with their history. You can build stuff around them, but I do like that they pulled the trigger on putting the United States title on him because there are some stories that you could tell with him. He's good enough. He's got the charisma. You can build around him. And this is what everybody's been saying. So obviously you saw it's a taped episode. People knew he was going to win it. They tuned in to watch the show anyway. That's a very positive sign. So I hope they're getting the fact that this type of representation is important. It causes people to tune in, and you can build around it. So I hope that sends a clear signal to them. But I'm like you, it remains to be seen. You took a good first step. You really did. So
I don't want to have a situation where we look at Carmelo Hayes as the token. We just have to have one on the show. That's what I don't want that. I want to see where you can have a Carmelo Hayes on the show, and then the match after that will be a Trick Williams or Obafemi, or you a Javon Evans, or the New Day. Whatever. That's kind of what I want. You can have both sides here, is what I'm saying. Because if you got enough time for the Samoan talents, if you got enough time for the Mexican talents, you got enough time for the black talents, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
and we can all commingle. That's how it is. It ain't always about race, but fuck, bro. When you see it clearly in your face, when you see what's going on clear in your face, you got to call it out.
Yep, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. So, good first step. We'll be watching. We'll be watching. But let's shift gears a little bit. I did want to talk about this too. Only because it's a monumental step. So let's switch a gear. Let's talk about something we haven't talked about in a while. Total Nonstop Action has made a very monumental move. They have an AMC TV deal. I know earlier in the year we were talking about how important it was for them to get that. They have it. They will be debuting here in Dallas. January 15th will be their premiere episode, TNA Impact on AMC. And a lot of buzz in the air up here about what that's going to look like. A lot of people are saying this may put them in line to be a number 2 promotion. I'm on that note, I'm skeptical too. Like, you can't just jump to number 2 just because you have a TV deal. There's certain points to prove. But I had a conversation with Mike Santana, and that conversation leads me to believe that roster is very much excited for this opportunity. I know TNA has had a very storied product, and the best thing about it was the stories that they told. They told the best stories in the industry. They have one of the best women's divisions in the industry, one of the best tag divisions in the industry, and it's just been hidden. My thoughts. I'm sorry. Your thoughts on where TNA goes now that they have this AMC TV deal?
Well, I hope that they keep going up. That's what I hope happens here. They have a great opportunity that was afforded to them due to their relationship with WWE.
Yep.
Period. Because look at all the TV deals that they've had previously. You remember NWA TNA 2002 started off on pay-per-view, $9.99 a week on Wednesday nights from Nashville in the fairgrounds. Remember that?
Yep.
And then they went to Fox Sports Net. Remember back in the day?
Yep.
3 p.m. on the afternoon on Fridays from Universal Studios Soundstage 21. That's how far back I go with TNA.
Yep.
And then there was the big one, Spike TV, the debut episode was on Spike. Who debuted that night? The W Boys, Team 3D. So did Kevin Nash. They all came in. And then it fell apart after that. They lost Spike TV. Spike TV no longer wanted to they didn't want to put any more money into the product, but they went to Destination America. And then after that, they went to Pop TV. So they've had a lot of different chances. But I think now they have their head on straight now, and they have a roster that's willing to go out there and do it and show them basically what TNA is. My only thing is that I need to see what TNA is without the WWE NXT. That's what I want to see. Because you can't depend on NXT forever to get you through. You guys did it for years without NXT. When it was just AJ Styles out there wrestling Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe and Triple Threats, or when we had the Aces and Eights, or when you brought in Bobby Lashley, you brought in Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, you brought in so many different X Division talents. You did it on your own. So I want to see what they can do on AMC. Of course, we're still in a honeymoon period right now between them and WWE. So we'll see when that stops. Because what I think what's happening here, and I think a lot of people aren't getting it, is that WWE is essentially using TNA as a farming system to pick their talents, much like they picked the talents from ECW back in the day. They picked Taz, they picked the Dudleys, they picked all these different guys to come in, and Vince was subsidizing them anyways. So I think that's what we're seeing here, and they got to be very, very careful that they don't start picking their top guys. I mean, they already got a quote unquote top guy. Joe Hendry is already in WWE.
Yep.
How is that going to affect the TNA brand moving forward? We'll see.
That's a good point, and I share that sentiment. And I thought TNA before NXT came along was a great product. I thought they had enough then. Obviously, they did enough to attract the WWE to work with them, but I thought that roster at that time was one of the hottest rosters out. They just weren't seen. I still feel that way. They still have a great roster. They still have a lot of young talent. They still have the ability to attract young talent. And I do think going forward, we will see a growth from TNA. I think that puts them in a very good position. But I'm like you, eventually we have to see what this looks like without the WWE involved. I would very much like them to get away from that, because that environment and more competition, not necessarily competition for the WWE, but more competitive place amongst wrestling fans just makes wrestling better. And I do think with them being able to share this on the national audience that can actually see them is important to that growth. And I do think we will see some growth from them. And January 15th remains to it's going to be here before we know it. I know they're going to be in Dallas. Anytime TNA comes to Dallas, they do a great show. The Dallas crowd is always engaged. I've been to a few shows that they've come out here and done, and I've always walked away from it blown away at what we got. So I expect January 15th to be no different, and they're going into Genesis. So good luck to them very much. But I do think this puts them in a very, very good position.
Yeah, and listen, it puts them in a great position, but don't get it twisted. You can't come off and say, "Oh, well, they're the number 2 promotion."
We're the number 2. Yep,
you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in, and on top of that, okay, now let's compare your pay-per-view numbers to AEW's pay-per-view numbers. That's what you want to see. Because I remember back in the day, towards the end of WCW in 2001, people were actually trying to say that ECW was a number 2 promotion and WCW was number 3, which had no way in hell that was true when WCW had the bigger audience.
Yeah.
So even WCW's dying days, their audience was still bigger than ECW. They still had the turn networks. So you can't tell me that all of a sudden now that TNA is on AMC, which is not as big as the Turner networks. It's not.
Correct.
So don't get that twisted, people. And I'm not up here trying to bury TNA. I'm just being factual in this situation with some fucking common sense. They're not number 2. AEW is really not number 2. You're an alternative, is what you are. You're an alternative. And I think Tony Khan and AEW, they finally realized, stop trying to reach WWE. They got a 60-year head.
You got to do your own thing.
You got to do your own thing.
You got to do your own
and
thing.
They've been doing their own thing.
Yep. They've been doing their own thing, and they've been better for it. Not necessarily worried about what WWE is doing. Just do our thing. And I think TNA eventually needs to get in that bag and do what TNA does better than anybody else, and that's be TNA. So
I agree.
I definitely agree with that. So last thing before we get up out of here, man, I did want to get your thoughts on 2025 as a whole. What are your thoughts on the wrestling scene? What happened in 2025?
I don't know, man. 2025 was a mixed bag. You know, it was. I mean, it started off with so much. I was gonna say it started with so much promise, but then I remember that Jey Uso won the Rumble. I don't know. I don't know, bro. Like I don't know. We'll come back to that one because I honestly we've had such a shit year when it comes to wrestling. We had deaths, you know, Hulk Hogan and all this different shit. So I don't know, bro. We'll come back after the first of the year and then I'll answer that question.
Okay. All right. Before I get out of here, I did want because I'm kind of in that too. We had a mixed bag. We had some legends leave. It was crazy. It was a crazy year. It was an up and down year. But I do want to say my love for pro wrestling kind of quadrupled, and it had nothing to do with any of the majors, right? It was being involved in the independent scene and working with Metroplex Wrestling and the work that we did here. It kind of brought my love back tenfold for wrestling and the respect level of what these guys put their bodies through, how they approach it. I've seen a lot of how people approach it and gained an appreciation for it because speaking with some of the people that we had on the show, like everybody approaches it differently, but it all makes it, the goal is always the same. And that it's fun to see that on that level. And you're seeing pretty much the purest part of pro wrestling is none of the politics is involved on a high level, right? There's no real division. Like people have their promotions, but on the whole, everybody just supports wrestling on that level. And it's really, really refreshing to see going out to the shows, interacting with the people. It's really refreshing. And so I'm like, 2025 for me was cool on the fact that I got to fall in love with pro wrestling again and just immerse myself in it. And I think going forward, 2026, I'm going to be on that same energy, man. It's just enjoying the stories and the ride. And it kind of translated its way up, right? So working on the independent level and seeing the love that they have on that level kind of just made me search for it on the higher levels. And I kind of found that. And it's awesome. So I think I'm going to do more of that in 2026.
That's great. That's great to hear. You know, I did appreciate the AEW experience this year when they came here for Dynamite and Collision. That was a great show. I mean, my interest with AEW gain some steam there. But other than that, I'm honestly kind of over the wrestling business. It's just there's nothing there. Like and that happens. That happens over time where you find other interests. When I listen back in the day, I was big into wrestling. That was my thing. And I still do enjoy some stuff from time to time. But I'm more of the old school fan. I'm more of a guy that likes to watch the network while I still can before it goes away on Peacock. I'm one of those guys. I like to watch the classic shit. I like to watch, some world class. I like to watch some WCW on a rainy day. That's my thing. You know what I mean? I like to watch some old superstars. Do you know they have the Undertaker YouTube channel?
Yeah,
yeah. So
they're starting to do that.
Yeah. So I'm digging that stuff. I just the new stuff is just not for me. It is what it is. But I do enjoy AEW. And I do enjoy some stuff that WWE does, but I can't get into the CM Punks and all these people. It's not my thing. Just can't do it.
For me, I think that's why the indies, because you don't get any of that stuff down there.
Yeah.
Right. It's all about the wrestling. And I think that's why I stuck around the indie scene and just like followed it. Is because it was refreshing. like I was just like, oh, we can just focus on the wrestling. That's awesome. And there's some good wrestling out there. So I was like, I'm gonna stay down here. And for a while, I was like you. I was like, I'm kind of over the major stuff. You know what I mean? I'm kind of over it.
I think that's what I'm saying here. I'm kind of jaded when it comes to the just because of WWE and the people in charge that run WWE is a big. That's one of my things. Like I can't get with it.
Yeah, and I get that too. And it was like for a while I was just like, we could talk about it, but it's you know what I mean? It's like I'm pretty much watching it so we could talk about it. And now
it's a chore.
It became a chore. And now I'm like I'm immersed back into it. And it doesn't feel like a chore anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of digging that aspect of it. It ain't work. You know what I mean? Like we're having fun. And I think for me, that's where I want to be at for right now.
Yeah.
It's just like we're having fun. Let's just keep rolling with it. It don't feel like a chore. Let's roll. You know what I mean?
And that's the whole point. Like you have to find something that interests you and find something that you're passionate about, and that is how I am right now about Star Wars.
Yep,
that's kind of where I am. I mean, you look behind me, I got fucking Chewbacca behind me. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at now. You know what I mean? I got the wrestling belts over there and shit, but it's kind of like it's what it is. I don't know. I just when you. I don't know. Maybe we'll see what 2026 is. We'll see what happens. All I know is that I am not interested in anything that WWE does. AEW on a different, on another note, AEW, the shit they're doing right now with MJF and Joe and Hangman and Swerve.
Yeah.
And they got a pay-per-view tonight. World's End.
Gonna watch it.
Yeah. So I mean they're doing some good shit over there. WWE, not so much. That's what I'm saying. I'm not convinced of anything that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all of a sudden now it's like, okay, you say for 1 minute, you say, well, we don't care about what they say. We don't give a shit. And Nick Khan's out here talking, well, I don't care what people think about me. Obviously you do, because you wouldn't have brought it up. No one brought it up. You brought it up. So obviously you do care what people think about you. But like I said, the way we do the show here is kind of like when I used to watch Russo, and they used to do that their Raw show, and it's like, you gotta watch this shit. That's just kind of what it is. That's what it is with WWE. Like I see stuff and I'm like, this shit is whack. That's just me.
And I totally get it. Because for a while I was like that. I was like, I'll watch it, I'll talk about it, but it's a chore. So I had to put myself in a place where it wasn't a chore. So you know what I mean? I get it.
And I can see that with you where MPX makes you happy. You like being a part of that. You like going to the shows. You like contributing to their brand. And MPX needs to, hey, listen, my guy right here, he's doing the business for y'all, putting y'all over like $1 million, giving y'all an unbelievable platform here. And that's what we do here on No Gimmicks. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. 2026, more to come.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. But any last thoughts, my guy, before we jump out of here?
Oh, man. Just, hey, listen, just keep supporting the No Gimmicks podcast and the DFPN network as a whole. That's pretty much it, bro. You know, help control the pet population, have your pets spayed or neutered. And, you know, remember, there's only one reality of the Sith. There's only two.
I like that you put that in there.
Yeah, I had to.
But before we get out of here, man, thank you guys for a great 2025 here at No Gimmicks. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, bro. I gotta let the people know something.
Go ahead.
So coming in 2026.
I was going to announce that. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and do well.
You go ahead. You got it.
Well,
you got it.
Coming in 2026 to the DFPN network, we have a brand new podcast coming up, and it's basically Star Wars centric. Okay, it's called Rebel Empire, and we're going to be talking some Star Wars, and we're not coming up here to haterize and all this other shit that you can get on any YouTube channel out there. We're going to talk about what we love about Star Wars, and we're going to talk about the lore of Star Wars. We're going to talk about what Disney don't talk about, and we're going to probably end up reacting to a lot of these AI videos that we see from Skywalker Stories and Star Wars Untold and all these different places out there. So stay tuned to that. It's coming soon here on the DFPN. And I believe the first episode, we're going to be talking about our introduction, but I think we're talking Vader. So we'll see.
Yeah. I can't wait for that, man. When the concept of this, it's been a concept for a while, and
a couple years.
Yeah, a couple years. And to see it finally becoming a reality and the work that's going into it already, I'm super excited. And when we announced this on the DFPN channels, the fans took to it immediately. So I'm very, very excited to see what comes of Rebel Empire, the name of the show. Let's get a look at it real quick before we jump out of here.
Now tell me that fucking promo don't get you excited. Don't tell me that doesn't make you mark out, brother. That was dope.
It's dope, man. And,
I didn't think we could go further than the No Gimmicks podcast intro, but I don't know. You outdid yourself on that one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that one is I'm super excited for it, man. And just seeing the ideas you guys are coming up with, I cannot wait to get this out to
I saw yesterday you were reading the Star Wars costume book.
Yeah. Y'all got me in a bag. I didn't think I was gonna be I was like, I'm invested now. I'm like, I like the conversations and just the stuff that I've been paying attention to, what you guys have been doing, man. I can't wait for this show to get out because the people are going to eat it up. I cannot wait. man.
That's what I'm passionate about. So that's the passion right there.
I love it. But seeing y'all so passionate about it, like it puts my investment in it just that much more. So
yeah,
can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, fire ass promo.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that's the show, man. Thank you guys for tuning in to No Gimmicks. Thank you guys for making this a great 2025 for us. We'll see you guys in 2026. And you know what it is. Be safe. Enjoy what you're gonna enjoy. Peace.
And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmicks, gimmicks.